remember waking up and mouth was dry, I was dehydrated. I go and I turn my alarm off. I got those crusties in my eyes too. I'm waking up. And it takes me a few hours. And this was a Saturday morning, right? Was out the night before. And I would go on to Instagram and I would watch these reels. And I'd see that success porn that you watch of all these guys with the cars and the watches and all these great athletes and they're accomplishing this and that. And I thought to myself, why not me? Why not me? And that's a question that you should be asking yourself too, is why not you? I just got done with the field workout. It's a Saturday. It's like 1:20 right now. Was up this morning, had a meeting this morning. And once I made this change, I started to see a crazy improvement in my life. And it's not just one of those like, I'm going monk mode and I'm just going to lock myself in the room. And no, I was out with friends, but I didn't drink. I wasn't drinking, and it allowed me to still have a productive day today. And I think going back to that question of why not you? Why not you? Like, why can't you be the one that's misunderstood by everyone who has their mission that is so big that people don't understand it, right? I work an internship. I go to college. I'm not some crazy, super out there outlier. Like, I'm an average dude, so to speak. But I just have this desire, and I know that there's a potential for the best version of me out there that if I just make these decisions, I can achieve. Success isn't just reserved for those people that think that like you have to be born a certain way, you have to have a certain environment, a certain lifestyle. That's just cope. At the end of the day, that's cope. Because all those people did, the only difference is they just made the decision. That's it. And they just stuck to their word. They said they were going to do something and then they just did it. And that's all it is. And you're going to have to make sacrifices, don't get me wrong, but you can do this tastefully. You can still have your family and friends around you. Sorry, I'm baking right now, so if this air conditioning sound picks up on the mic, I apologize. But this is one take, I'm filming it. However this turns out, it turns out. Anyways, but you have to realize that at the end of the day, that's the only difference, is if you make the decision and you follow through and you're a man of your word. How many times, I know for me, back in the past, I would say I would wake up at this time. And I didn't wake up at that time, right? I would hit the snooze button, hit that orange snooze button, boom, 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 again, and again, and again. And at some point, you have to draw a line in the sand. You have to draw a line in the sand, and it's like, all right, I've had enough of watching someone else do what I want to do. I've had enough of lying to myself, of letting myself off the hook day in and day out. And then you wonder why you don't have confidence whenever you go into a meeting. You don't have confidence whenever you go to talk to a girl. Whatever it is, it's because you can't even hold those little amounts of truth or promises to yourself. So why would your own body trust you to go perform? Once I made that decision to give up drinking and to just give up that unhealthy lifestyle, I started to really pursue my dreams seriously. I started to take my business seriously. I started to take my health more seriously. And what the catalyst for that was, I'll give you a little backstory. I played football 2 years in college. I developed stress fractures in my back, so I couldn't play anymore. I had crazy back pain. I went through all the hoops and rings of the doctors, of the injections, right, with the lidocaine, whatever, like just to try to numb it up, make it feel better. It didn't work. It'd wear off. And it came to a point where I just developed these super bad habits, and I kept, momentum works two ways. There's upwards momentum and downwards momentum. And I just really developed a lot of downwards momentum, and I would play it off because, as with anything else in my life up until that point, I was always just good enough to kind of coast. I was always just good enough to put in the least amount of effort and still do relatively well. So like nothing really, there was no repercussions for it. And that was a big wake up call for me of breaking my back, having those stress fractures, because then I had to really go above and beyond. And I had to dial stuff in super seriously if I wanted to make any progress and make any change. And a large part of that was my own ego, because I made it worse by continuing to lift, continuing to try to practice, because I didn't want, people to view me a certain way as weak or soft. And I made it worse. It was my own ego that got into the way, because no one else thought that. That was just a lie from the devil telling me that stuff. And so going back to this point of why, I know this seems relatively on a tangent, but going back, I promise this makes sense, of why not you. If you look at your own life and your own habits in your day-to-day, and if you're really honest with yourself and you're really honest with what you want to achieve in life, it seems the more you grow old, the more that you let those things fall away. And the more that you start making decisions based off of fear of, oh, I won't make it, or, oh, this won't work for me, this program won't work for me, this workout's not for me, I can't go and sprint, I can't lift that weight. You start making these rationalizations and these excuses, and that is such a self-limiting belief. God tells us to go, and anything that we ask for, if we have the faith the size of a mustard seed, it will be given to us. If there is something on your heart that you feel very strongly about and you have a conviction, it's your duty to go out there and chase it to the best of your abilities. You are doing yourself and the world a disservice by not going and striving to be that person. You're letting a lot of people down. And the problem is, you think that it takes some crazy life-altering event, and it might for some people, but once you just come to the realization that this is it, there's no safety net, there's no one coming to save you. Once you're out there, you're out there. That should be the motivation for you to jump. And it's scary at first, don't get me wrong. I work a corporate job. I'm in that office from 8 to 4:30. I get home around 5:30, 5:45, and I spend those few precious hours that I have working on my business. And before I go into work, I'm working out, and it's using those precious hours that you have to go buy back your physical freedom, so that that physical freedom can then lead into your financial freedom to go and pursue the things that you want to go and pursue. So I'm going to come back to it a final time and ask you, why not you? Why not you? You have the potential, you have the skills. If you're watching this, you're probably watching it on a phone, an iPhone, a laptop. You have the resources, you have the intelligence. You can do it. There are people that are literally stupid who are taking more action than you because they just don't have that fear of failure, and they're not scared, to go and just jump into it. All right? Why not you? Go out there and take what you deserve and work for it. Don't let anyone else tell you that it's stupid or it's weird or that your habits are totally out there, because if something's on your heart and you have a conviction about it, it's your duty and obligation to go and chase it. Real quick, guys, if you like this video, please feel free, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys want to see next down in the comments below, or if you guys like this video. Additionally, if you guys want to schedule a call with me for my one-on-one training, there's a link in the description as well, along with my Instagram. All right, boys, catch ya. Peace.